Hello gamers, it's Lord Psycho OG here, and today we have another awesome solo win for you guys. I'm coming here on Black Ops Call of Duty. I hope everyone had an amazing Thanksgiving, but first we're going to shout out some of our new subscribers. So I left one out in my last video, so shout out to Josh Forrest for subscribing to the channel. We appreciate it. Shout out to Megatron and shout out to Creta Dead. Thank you guys so much for the subscriptions. I really appreciate you guys. Let's get into the gameplay. Landed in Rivertown here, and immediately I pick up a rampart. We get a guy right off the drop. Really like to eliminate these players as soon as we can. So I got another guy here in the garages. He's trying to, see where I'm at, make some moves. He gets a couple hits on me, but I reposition myself. I talked about repositioning and how important it is in this game to kind of keep yourself in different positions as much as possible. Make yourself a harder kill. And so I reposition myself into the building next to where I landed because that's where we got in the initial gunfight, and I'm just kind of waiting him out here. He peeks, didn't have armor, and he lost that gunfight. I recently got some new control freaks. They're these little grips that go on top of your analog sticks, and I'm kind of familiarizing myself with them right now, trying to get a little bit better, trying to see how I can change up my playstyle. And so I'm getting used to these control freaks right now, but I'm still, like I said, really trying to just work on my just being a good player at this game, and hopefully it trickles over to you guys as well. Rivertown is my go-to place. I love Rivertown. I feel like there's just so much loot, so much action that can happen at the beginning, and it's a nice place if you survive to really set you up for end game. So I think I should have got that cluster grenade there. So I put a lot of shots into this guy, so I decided to push this here. I know that he stopped his quad right outside of this building to my right. We push that gunfight. We have the Spitfire. I love this Spitfire. This is my go-to submachine gun. This setup actually is my go-to setup. The KN57 and the Spitfire. I feel like these two guns balance each other out so well. The Spitfire is a prime short range going into mid-range gun, and the KN57 picks up any other slack that the Spitfire may have when it comes to mid-range and long range. And that's why I have that 4x on there. I was taking shots earlier from some guy, and I finally located him. So I pull out my KN and I see him on top of the gas station. So I potato right there, but I'm gonna push this guy. He had no armor. I probably hit this guy for maybe 100. But I'm gonna push him anyways. We got this Spitfire here. I'm gonna go in hard. This is my play style. I'm aggressive. I like to kind of put the pressure on people and make them make plays. So I'm gonna confuse him here. Open that door, and we're gonna push in. I kind of got a little worried there because I accidentally spam meleeed, and I tend to do that when I get nervous. Sometimes I feel like I grip my controller really hard, and I'm also working on that as well. And one of the things that has helped me out in the past is to kind of constantly tell myself, play relaxed, because I feel like, and this may happen for some of you guys too. You can tense up sometimes when you're playing these games and you get in those gunfights. You grip that controller really hard. And so I feel like constantly telling yourself to play relaxed can help you guys improve on that. But sometimes in those situations, especially playing battle royale games where these gunfights kind of be surprising sometimes, you can get shocked. And so just constantly working on that and just trying to be a better player here. So I heard gunshots here earlier, and I see this guy in the building. This guy was cool. Using my equipment, take that out. That's an easy kill. Don't want to have to jump in there and try to get this shot when you got a cluster grenade. Now I knew that there was another guy in the area, so I don't immediately go and loot this. I come back here behind this half wall with a nice little head glitch, and I'm kind of just jiggling around waiting to see where this guy's at. See if he pops himself out now that me and this guy just got in a gunfight. Some shots were fired off, and I don't see him coming right now. I'm still out of the circle, so I'm gonna have to loot this guy and get on out of here. I decided not to pick up that outlaw. I am not the best with snipers, and I kind of am aware of that, and that's, I think, important as a player, is to kind of be aware of the playstyle that you're best with, and to play to that play style, right? If you don't pick up a lot of submachine guns and you're a badass with the sniper, pick up those snipers and let your teammates know that. But on the other end, if you don't like to use snipers a lot and you feel like, you know, you're not as confident with that, use the setup that you're most confident with. I'm confident with assault rifles and submachine guns that put out a lot of rounds, because that's what I've just had success with in the past. This may be different for everybody, but I feel like you should utilize what setup you feel the most comfortable with, not because you see it on YouTube videos, but because you get wins with it, you get kills with it, and you can help your teammates out the most with it. So I'm working my way into the circle here. We got 5 kills so far, and I just kind of want to be cautious of my surroundings right now. I know that there's always people camping in this little house right here, so I'm gonna push this carefully. I pushed that ladder setup, and now some people may have thought that, well, you know, I should have died in that scenario, but that was kind of the unpredictable thing at that moment. I knew that he was probably going to be healing up. He didn't think that I was going to jump up on that ladder. So what I did is I jumped up on that ladder. I tried to stay unpredictable here and pushed it, and I got that gunfight. Plus, taking into consideration the Spitfire, that thing puts out a lot of rounds at close range. I felt like I could win that fight, and it worked out best for me. As you see there, when I got that trauma kit, I popped that trauma kit right away. That's called front loading. I talked about that before as well, but I think it's to your advantage to utilize your trauma kits once you get those trauma kits in your hands, because I feel like that extra 50% is gonna just give you the advantage. Say if you're ever surprised, say if you're ever shocked, or if you're ever in a shootout where you and the guy are shooting at each other at the same time, having that 50%, having that 50 plus energy or 50 plus health on top of whatever armor you may have is gonna help you win that gunfight. So now I'm slowly pushing my way into the circle here, and I'm kind of just trying to work this outer rim right now. I always like to work the outsides of the circle because I'm trying to minimize how many people I have behind me. I hate having people shoot at me from behind, and I don't like getting caught in the open, so I'm going to kind of minimize how many people I have behind me. I hear gunshots coming over here at 60 degrees, so I'm going to work my way slowly towards this enemy here and see what I can do. I have my KN out right now because I feel like I have the potential to get into a mid-range to long-range gunfight, so I have this out. I'm listening for footsteps right now. I'm kind of sound whoring, trying to find out where the heck this guy's at. See if I hear anybody running in the distance. I hear some footsteps. Check him out here. The element of surprise in this game is extremely huge. If you can get off and get those hits early in the game, you're more likely to win the gunfight unless you potato and panic. The element of surprise is huge in this game, which is why I also like to use perks. Perks are a great thing for you guys. Some people like to pick up a lot of throwables. I like to have a nice little even match. My go-tos are Skulker, Dead Silence, Awareness, and Consumer. Consumer is a slept-on one. I really like to utilize Consumer. That's kind of a... It's always nice to be able to heal and get your heals off quickly. And timing is everything too. Utilizing your perks in the right time, right? Some perks you like to use in the early game. You know, maybe you want to use Looter in the beginning of the game, but you want to save your Dead Silences for these last couple circles. Or Skulker if you like to push. I have a video as well on my channel where I use Skulker to my advantage for my aggressive playstyle, and I talk about how it's a great perk to use for your aggressive playstyle. So I dropped the 4 times in this scenario because the circle's getting small and I feel like I don't have a need for a scope with 4 times. I would rather, you know, pick up some throwables. So I'm popping perks right now. The circle's getting really small and I feel like now is the time to kind of start picking people off. And we know that there's people in a small vicinity. We're taking people out, rotating into the circle. I'm still playing this little outside area here. I don't want to get caught in the middle of the circle. I want to play this outside because I'm minimizing the amount of players that are behind me, as I said before. And I think this is a great play style for some of you guys who are struggling in these last circles to get these wins. Start hanging around in the outside, hanging around in between the blue and the white, and catch people rotating. This is going to increase how many kills you have, increase how long you have to play the game, and just make the game overall more enjoyable for you guys. I thought I saw a guy laying in the grass there, so I scoped in, kind of seeing if I would get some aim assist. This game has aim assist, and it's a huge benefit for you guys if you utilize it correctly. I don't know how many times I ran past a bush and got aim assist, and there was a guy hiding in the bush. And so whenever you guys get a little bit of drag, say running past the building, and you get that aim assist, take note of that and learn when the aim assist picks up, because that could identify some enemies that you know have behind buildings, that have hiding in bushes, or are proning and snaking around. That aim assist could kind of indicate that for you. And some people may think that that's not, you know, a game mechanic that you should, you know, utilize, but it's part of the game, and a part of winning a game is adapting and utilizing the things that are in the game to your advantage, and auto assist or aim assist is one of them. So circle's coming close now, and I'm running into the middle because there's cover, right? And I feel like the circle's gonna change into these 6 houses, so I'm gonna run into these 6 houses and press this little jump up right here. I have dead silence here, so I can move pretty freely throughout these houses. Once again, I'm listening for footsteps. I'm trying to see anybody shuffling, seeing if anybody's walking or moving. I don't hear anything right now, so I keep on pushing up. Somebody left the crate. Got some full level 2 armor. Now we're in business here. When it comes down to these end circles, playing for characters can get a little bit sketchy. For me, I'm all about wins. I like getting wins. I don't like getting contact with you guys. So I drop those tags there so I can get some more loot in my bag, in my inventory. We found a little operator, so I'm going to take all the attachments off of the operator and put it on the guns that I prefer to use. This is something that I see players do a lot, and that if you're not doing it, you should do that. If you find a gun that's an operator gun that you don't like, pick up that gun and take all the attachments off it and put those attachments onto the gun that you're familiar with or that you're comfortable with. I popped dead silence again. Once again, this circle's small. I like to be aggressive, so I'm going to use dead silence to my advantage to try to pick off players in these houses. Now for me, when it comes down to these final circles, I'm trying not to make a lot of noise. I don't want to be jumping through glass. And I hear somebody to my right here. Placing cover in front of me. This guy takes my kill over here, but I see those gunshots, so I'm going to transfer my aim over to this guy. So I get a lot of hit markers on this guy, so I'm going to push here. Always applying pressure, guys. Like I said, you don't want to let people heal in this game. Healing in this game happens very quickly, as you can see, especially if you have something like consumer pop. So when you get a lot of hit markers and you have a good amount of health, push that gunfight. Try to create this pressure, and pressure makes people panic. Pressure makes people not think clearly, and that just gives you the advantage in the gunfight. So somebody was throwing cluster grenades at me, and I'm trying to identify where this person's at right now. Always constantly moving. I talked about jiggling and kind of making yourself a harder kill. I'm trying to identify where this person was throwing things at me from. I hear more footsteps again. So right there, I was tapping the trigger. I wasn't spraying, trying to, you know, kind of reduce that recoil that this KN can have, and I identify another player over here across the roofs. So I'm taking shots at everyone right now. I'm trying to pick off as many players as I can. I have this high ground, and I have the advantage against all these other players that are rotating. The guy with the last bullet here. And I hear a grapple hook, so this guy's pushing me as well. Sound in this game is so key to you guys winning, especially in these final circles. This guy chucks a tomahawk at me. Sound gave this guy away. Talking about utilizing your perks and having these perks for you guys at the end of the game is going to help you win this game at the end of the day. If this guy had dead silence, it might have been a good game. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Thank you guys so much for watching. We have a new video coming for you guys on Wednesday. Please make sure to like, comment on what you think I can do better, comment on what you think I should be talking about. Subscribe to the channel if you like. Lord Psycho is out. Happy gaming, gamers.